Okay, hey brothers and sisters, this is Cameron. I am feeling really, really weird right now. I just went to my first memorial, Jehovah's Witness memorial, in a couple of years. I skipped last year, and I went to the one the year before that, I believe, and I definitely dressed the part, head to toe. One thing I've learned about being in the real world is you learn about tailoring and making sure everything fits you, versus JW's. According to what the governing body tells them, is if you wear a tailored suit, you're supporting the homosexuals in the fashion industry. So don't wear a tailored suit, which doesn't make any sense, and that's extremely homophobic, but that's what they teach.
Not appropriate for a Christian. And I want you brothers to think about this. Do you remember that many, many, many homosexuals are in the clothing industry and doing the designing? Don't you know they love it when you're wearing tight pants? Oh yeah, you chuckle. I don't think it's funny. I think it's disgusting.
I'm in one of the main streets downtown in where I grew up, and actually it's really nice. I don't know if you can see, there's a lot of like little small mom and pop shops and little bakeries. It's definitely a smaller town because it's a church store over here that sells Bibles and shit. I don't know how I feel. I just got out of the memorial, and they were saying the same old, like the same genocidal thoughts. The world's gonna end, Armageddon's gonna come, JWs are gonna be the only ones that make it, and you want to make sure you have your Father's love in the organizations, by the organizations lead with this, you know, the slave, the governing body. And if you grew up in this cult, you know this verbiage, how much it makes sense. If it doesn't, it just sounds crazy. It sounds absolutely nuts. And listening to it now, I realize just how crazy it was and is. But it's really weird. I walked in, I instantly recognized about 50%, maybe 40% of the people that I grew up with. They were everywhere. A couple of them were giving me some dirty looks. This one older lady, she was like, the entire time. And I decided to stand up in the back because there wasn't a lot of seats, and I wanted to see the reactions of the people that I grew up with. You know, the ones that I used to call my real brothers and sisters, my real family that replaced the family that I was taken away from. they did this, you know, I haven't experienced it. There's about anywhere from 1,100 to 1,500 Jehovah's Witnesses at this particular meeting at this particular night for the memorial. 6 or 7 different congregations that were together. I had basically been in or visited almost all of them. And shit, there might actually be there's some restaurants behind me that some of them used to go to, and they would eat afterwards. It was, if you're a JW, you know that they all usually go to like Chili's or Applebee's or some local place that has, you know, like pub food, but not really a bar. And I think that's where they might be at behind me here. It's just a really fucking weird feeling to come back home and know that there's a giant ass religious cult that ruined your life and is ruining your friends and family members' lives. So part of me feels like kind of angry, kind of sad, weird. I don't know. I don't like it. I don't like how it feels. But at the same time, I realize I'm an adult, and this is my first time experiencing this, so I know this is, you know, it's pretty normal to feel weird. But if I let my emotions jump out and go crazy, I know that they have some kind of pull and control over me and how I grew up. It's not okay. So last time I was here was probably about fucking 2 years ago, maybe 3. And not much has changed. It's a small town. Maybe there's some music playing. I'm gonna have to come down here during the day with some of my EXJW friends just to chill and hang out. There might actually be possibly 1 or 2 places that has good food. I'm just rambling on, because I'm emotionally not in the right headspace right now. No, that's a bar. There's definitely JWs over there. But there's an egg here. There's a Easter egg here. That's kind of cool. It was weird seeing their faces, and then when they would look at you, they would go, either their eyes would dart all over the place and not look at you, or they'd look at the ground, pretend you don't exist, or they'd look up at the ceiling and look at everything but you, or they'd look at you and mean mug you, or I remember seeing a couple of them that were like, like that. They were just kind of gossiping, like, oh my God, look who's here. It was pretty crazy. And I haven't experienced that in a very, very long time. And the times that I did experience it was very brief. I just pretty much got my shit together and I left. It's very weird. Now, as some of you know, as hard as this is for me to talk about and admit, there's only one vlog where I ever mentioned this, that I was definitely molested by several members of the Jehovah's Witness community. And I remember the elders not going after it because they said it would bring reproach on Jehovah's name. And looking at those scriptures and figuring out that's complete bullocks, and there's actually scriptures that support anti-rape, if you believe in the Bible anymore. One of the guys came up to me and said, I actually, hopefully I got it on camera, I recorded it. And he was like, hey, how are you? To my face. And I looked at him dead in the eyes and I said, I was doing good until I saw you. And he goes, oh. And it took every fucking thing in my body, every fucking muscle, to not rip his goddamn eyes out and beat the shit out of him. But I took a deep breath and I let it go. Because I didn't want to make a scene. Because I have a point to make. If there's a point to be made at all. I want to eventually meet up with the JW elders and talk to them, because some of them had reached out to me recently, and I want to see what I can do. I'm going all over the place. This is not a planned vlog. This is, I don't know. And then on top of that, one of the other guys, his mother, the mother of the man who also took advantage of me as a child, kept mean mugging me the whole night and kept walking back and forth and looking at me and just giving me dirty looks. And it just doesn't make any sense, because I remember growing up with her, and she remained close to my mother for years, and I had to see them, and nobody would do anything. I remember even the night that I got disfellowshipped, I told one of the elders that I grew up with, like, this happened. And he had his, like, professional notebook open and with lined paper, and he goes, oh, okay, and he, like, pulls a scrap piece of paper. I was like, you know, who's the person? So-and-so? Okay, all right. And he, like, halfway folds it and just throws it somewhere in his pocket. And I don't think they did anything about it. It's so disheartening because who knows how many are widespread in each congregation. Like, it's bullshit. So for people's... What's up?
That was pretty dope. You look clean, dude.
Oh, thank you.
That's why I just wanted to stop by and just let you know.
Appreciate it.
Yeah, dude. Hey, mamas! What's your name? I'm coming, y'all.
So that's a new thing. I'd never really been to a bar back home, and apparently it's kind of a thing. I didn't even know it existed because I never partook when I was growing up. I'm all over the place. I'm gonna stop this vlog. But if you're a fellow victim, I think you're gonna want to stay in touch. Subscribe to the channel because there's some interesting things to talk about what I'm dealing with and going through, that some of the things I haven't dealt with and gone through as an adult from my childhood, and the way the JWs protect the predators and let them on the loose and don't report them is not okay, and it's our children that we want to protect. I don't have kids yet, but I know that when I do have kids, I want to make sure that wherever they go is safe. Like, I want to make, like, almost call ahead of time and be like, yo, is there anyone creepy that I need to be aware of? It's like, make sure they're okay. So until next time, brothers and sisters, I will see you in the next video. It has been about a week, maybe a week and a half, coming up on 2 weeks, since I have been to the memorial, the 2018 Jehovah's Witness Memorial of Jesus Christ. And man, I can say after shooting that, going down there, the next day I was at Easter with my family in the Bay Area, and I was just out of it. My aunt pointed it out. She's like, Cameron, you're so quiet today. And some of my uncles were like, hey, you know, I was just really quiet. I was kind of out of it. I was spacing out. I would just be there, and then I'd space out. You know, it was just a very traumatic thing to bring back a lot of emotions and memories and people's names that I haven't seen in years, and the people that you think that wouldn't treat you like shit did, or people were mean mugging you for no apparent reason, and just felt really judgy, really judgmental. Which is, of course, that's what the cult tactic of disfellowshipping, excommunication, marking someone as SP, putting someone in exile. That's what the tactic is for. It's a tactic to publicly humiliate you and to avoid losing any other members from fear of anyone else knowing the truth about what you may potentially know. And it took me a good 3 or 4 days to feel normal again. I was definitely out of it. I was feeling very weird and just blah. And when I think about it and talk about it again, all those emotions come up because I haven't seen these people in years since my disfellowshipping, and seeing them face to face, inches from my body, was really, really weird. And not something. There was 3 main reasons. Everyone asks, who I've told, is like, why did you go back? Like, why would you do that to yourself? Well, there's 3 main reasons. Number 1, I haven't seen my mother in years, and I was hoping to catch a glimpse of her, not like recruit her or like be like, hey, did you know about the 4 things that Jehovah's Witnesses do that are pagan? Because you're in a cult. I wasn't there to do that. It was just, I wanted to see her. I haven't seen her in years, and I just want to catch a glimpse of her. I did not. So for those of you who've been cut off from your friends and family members from disfellowshipping or being exiled, you know exactly what I'm talking about. I've seen grown men and women cry and be brought to tears because they can't see their granddaughters or their kids, because this is a tactic that cults use, is they hold your family members as bait and hold them hostage for you to come back to their brainwashed thinking and to give up your freedom of will to be a normal, natural person. And then I wanted to see how I would feel, how I would react to the lies of the governing body, see how my body would feel, how my mind would, what triggers would happen, And then also to see the friends and family that I thought were friends and family that I grew up with. Like, I spent over 2 decades with all of these people. Almost 2.5 decades with all of these people. And, you know, they just cut you off like you're nothing. So it was a really weird experience. But those are the main reasons why I went back. And even talking about it now, you can kind of see it's not, doesn't put me in a happy place, and it's not something I'm looking forward to putting myself through again, although I have some ideas for the future. And you'll be along the ride with me. So go ahead, comment some stuff, some experiences. I'd be curious to hear what your experiences were when facing friends and family that are Jehovah's Witnesses when you go back, or another cult, you know, Islam, you've got Mormons, you have Scientologists, you have so many that use the same tactic, and it's only cults that do this. And in my last video, the 4 things that mark Jehovah's Witnesses as celebrating pagan things is excommunication doesn't even come from the Bible. It's a complete misreading of the entire book of Corinthians and cherry-picking scriptures, and in their own literature that Watchtower puts out, they admit it in the mid-1940s, maybe closer to the 1950s. I have everything linked in the description of a previous video. You should definitely check it out. But comment below some things that are similar to you, and let me know what you think. Leave a thumbs up if this is helpful to you. I didn't go and storm the Kingdom Hall. That's not, or the Assembly Hall in this case, is not what I wanted to do. And when people drive by, they're like, giving you weird looks. But anyway, and then subscribe so we can stay in content. There's some more things that are happening and some unreleased stuff that I have never released that I'd be excited to share with you guys. Subscribe, and Patreon account is coming very soon, so you'll be seeing a link that will be embedded in all of my videos very soon. But it's basically, Patreon is as a way to get paid for your art and your activism, and I'm very much into both, so art and activism together is mind-blowing. I plan on releasing some websites and PDFs, but I need your guys' help in order to get there. So if you're down for that, you'll be seeing Patreon in the next week or so, with some private content and maybe some one-on-ones with me and you guys. I think that'd be very exciting. If you like that, leave a comment below, let me know. Until next time, brothers and sisters, I will see you